All right, diving right in today. You sent this over, the Fleux FLX004 diver. Looks pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a
Wow.
minimalist take on a dive watch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really caught my eye, It's so different from, well, most of what we see out there.
Exactly. So we've got this review right here. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to figure out, what makes this watch tick, so to speak. What are the interesting bits?
All right, challenge accepted. Let's break it down.
Okay, so first impressions, minimalist, like really minimalist. The review really hits that point home.
Yeah, less is more, for sure. And they really commit to it. When you look at the dial, you know what's missing.
What?
Hour markers. Gone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
No diving scale on the bezel either. Not even a seconds track.
Huh. That's pretty wild for a dive watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a choice. It forces you to engage with time differently, I guess. More about the general position of the hands, not so much about nailing down the exact minute.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got this glossy black sector dial. The review mentions it's kind of inspired by old navigational instruments.
Right. Gives it that sort of, purposeful feel, not your typical dive watch look.
Yeah, definitely unique. So with all this minimalism going on, the hands and limb must be pretty important, right?
Absolutely. You've got these matte silver hands really stand out against the black. Minute hand's pretty standard, but the hour hand has that broad arrowhead shape.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're coated with this old radium loom. Gives it a kind of vintage vibe, a little aged.
Cool. Yeah.
And even the seconds hand has a little loom pip on the end. The review actually says the legibility is excellent, despite the minimalism, which, is kind of the whole point with a dive watch, right? They got to be able to read it.
For sure. Okay, moving on. Case and bezel. What are we working with here?
All right, so the case is 38 millimeters. That's kind of a nice vintage-inspired size. And it's made from 316L stainless steel. Brushed finish, polished chamfers, durable stuff.
Yeah.
Sits about 14 millimeters tall, including the crystal. 47 millimeter lug-to-lug, so should wear pretty well on most wrists.
Sounds good. Now the bezel.
Yeah.
I remember this is a little different.
Yeah, it's a bidirectional friction bezel, so it rotates both ways. But no clicks. Just smooth movement based on pressure. Black aluminum insert. Very simple. Just one luminous marker at 12 o'clock. That's it.
Wow. That is minimal. I mean, can you even really use that for diving?
Well, the review says it's fine for, casual diving. Nothing too serious. Plus, the watch is water resistant to 200 meters, so it can definitely handle some depth.
Right.
They also mentioned the crown. Screw down, of course. Oversized, so easy to grip. And the case back is solid with this cool spiral brushed finish. Nice little detail.
Okay. Let's talk crystal. It's got that kind of domed look, right?
Yeah, it's box-shaped sapphire crystal. Adds about 2 millimeters to the overall height of the case, gives it that vintage vibe. And it plays with the light in an interesting way.
Cool. All right, what about the strap? Something about recycled ocean plastic, right?
Yeah, 20 millimeter sequel strap.
Yep.
So, pretty environmentally friendly.
That's awesome.
Review mentions it might be a little stiff at first, but it should soften up over time. Standard stainless steel buckle. Nothing fancy.
Makes sense. Okay, now for the heart of the matter, the movement. This is Seiko, yeah.
Yep. Seiko NH38A automatic movement. And you know what's cool about this one? It's a true no-date movement.
True no date. So, designed that way from the ground up.
Exactly. No ghost position on the crown or anything. Pretty neat. It's a workhorse movement. 24 joules. Beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour. That's 3 hertz.
Beats and specs.
Yeah, for sure. 41-hour power reserve. Central hours, minutes, hacking seconds.
Hacking seconds. So you can stop the seconds hand for precise time setting?
Exactly.
Good to know. What about accuracy?
Officially, it's rated at -20 plus 40 seconds per day. But, the review says it usually performs better than that in real-world use, which is pretty typical for this movement.
Okay, so bottom line. How much does this thing cost? And is it worth it?
All right, so the retail price is $499. Launched on March 26th. The review calls it, let me see, quite a bargain, especially for a unique skin diver with these specs, the 200-meter water resistance, no-date Japanese automatic movement.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Especially at this price point, a true no-date automatic dive watch with this level of finish, sapphire crystal. You don't see that every day. So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good value proposition if you're into the minimalist aesthetic.
All right, so for those listening, if you want to learn more, where should they go?
The website is flewatches.com. Check it out.
So it sounds like the Fleux FLX004 is a pretty interesting package, right? Unique look, Solid functionality, all for a reasonable price.
Yeah, it's a well-executed watch. Definitely worth a look.
And, I'm curious, for everyone listening, think about this. How would wearing a watch like this, stripped down, no extra markings, change how you experience time, even just day to day, not even diving? Does it make you more aware of the passage of time or less? What do you think? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.